Okay, so this is quite a nice seeding of plant of a concept. I have been thinking about mathematics and psychosocial reality since I was from university. Before I went to university to do maths and switched to social anthropology, how do we mathematize social engagement? It took me 20 years eventually to land on, because you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful because human beings are not objects. And the use of numbers is predominantly for the studying of objects, science, business, accounting, all of it. We're counting things. And we don't want to count people. Okay, the application of number to human beings is misused. Okay, I've been a maths teacher, not because I taught maths to the kids, but because I was interested in what's happening in a classroom with all these minds. Okay, because I went through the process, you went through the process, we all went through the process. Okay, and it's, what's happening. Okay, that question of what's going on, in the world, literally in the classroom, in a family, what's going on. And trying to understand that in a mathematical way, not as objects, but as in literally the human being going, what's going on? And what's the mathematics of even asking that question? And so the psychosocial reality in which we are all immersed, including you right now when you're watching this, for example, in our current understanding, this is a recording, I am in the past, and I'm the one that's got the authority yapping, but actually in reality, you are in charge, you are in the present, and you've got digital control on and off. And that ability to reposition ourselves with our actual agency rather than whatever it is that we're looking at or reading or whatever the authority is external to us. It's whatever it is that you're thinking. And the corollary, everybody who ever watches this is watching this literally at the same moment, relative to the beginning and the end of this, just in the same way as you read throughout this, the article that I've written below. When you get to the end of the paragraph, you and everybody else who's ever read this will be at the end of that paragraph. Because the ones that stop reading are no longer there. So literally, it is always exclusively the truth that it is with every other reader who's ever read this. Now, I wrote about this, I called it the reflexive reading. Went to university, tried to apply some of the things I'd learned with the kids in an academic setting. They wouldn't allow it. Wow. Okay, so I had to find academic theory for it, and I did. Third order cybernetics, systemic investigation. There's a third one, which I can't quite remember now. And yet, the people that were looking at it and the people who were reviewing it basically didn't appreciate that their reading was part of the process. And because they didn't acknowledge that, and I literally asked them, can you please just read these 6 statements and tell me what you think? No, there's no point. I know there's no point because you're objectifying it, and me, and this, us, and everything else, including the kids that basically the article is about. Anyway, so the point about this is that whatever it is that you think, what's going on regarding the world, this specific article is about locating a very simple thing. In our current society, we deal with probabilities. A lot of mathematics, a lot of the exploration of physics, for example, is probability. And as you know, Einstein didn't really like the idea that God played dice with the universe. Well, that's what we're doing with ourselves and the world. It's whether God does, it's not we are. Advertising, probability. There's a certain number of people driving in cars, going past a billboard, stick your poster up there. Okay, why? It increases the probability that they will buy your product. When they start to think about like ice cream, they think about Ben and Jerry's. Oh, look, it came into my mind, Ben and Jerry's. Why? Because of advertising, because of whatever, all right? And so similarly, we're being bombarded in lots of different ways regarding that. And that's most of business. Okay, and it's all to do with probabilities. Literally, because our current economy does not use a method of tracking value that is very effective and efficient. It's money. And money, you don't know where it's going. You literally don't know where it's going. The number does not indicate where it's going. It's in my pocket. All right, okay. Where is it going? It's going to go towards this, buying some fish, or I'm going to spend it on something else. I don't know, a pencil. Okay, and so that kind of directionality is at random. In our current world, it's treated as if it's random, whereas I'm suggesting, well, I think there's some intentionality, whether I want to buy fish or I want to buy a pencil. I think, I'm a bit hungry. I think I'm going to buy a fish. Okay, and so that intentionality is not a probability. Okay, it can be treated as a probability. With large numbers of people, we treat people as probabilities. It's not a probability. The fact that, for example, if you're watching this, a lot of people do this, it's still in films. If you're looking at this, if, there is no if. There's a person watching, that's you, and you are. How many? Well, that's up to like random chance, or if you share it forwards, which is what the scale is. Anyway, I've developed all these things. They're brilliant, and I came up with eventually this thing called full crewman. It's great. And with XQ, which is the maths. Now, this specific article is specifically about where is a kind of touch point where this makes sense to human beings, normal human beings, mathematicians, scientists, And it's literally the interval of 0 to 1, okay, which is where probability goes. And all I'm suggesting is, well, rather than just putting a number there for probabilities, let's use that 0 to 1 interval as intentionality. Now, so 0 means I have no intention to do that. 1 means I'm completely committed to that. Right. And everything in between. Well, that sounds kind of interesting. Okay, I might try that. Okay, I don't know, 0.4. And so the interval 0 to 1 is, it's not the evaluation, it's the actual truth of, you get the ice cream, you go, and that feeling starts to arise, and you go, yeah, I think I will. Fish or pencil. I think I'm going to go for fish because I'm feeling hungry, so that's about 0.7, 0.8. It's not the evaluation of 0.7, 0.8, it's the fact that I feel, all right, and I have intentionality. Now, what the whole point about mathematics is, it basically says, well, forget about whatever it's applied to, what's the actual maths? So it doesn't really matter if we're talking about probability or we're talking about intentionality. The mathematics still holds. Okay, so we can use the mathematics. That's quite interesting. And so that's what I've been doing. And it's quite a trick because mathematics is basically, although it's meant to be abstract, most of it is an application to physical reality of various forms, including people as objects. Whereas I'm interested in the sensitivity of the mind that is thinking it, like a kid in a classroom actually started to think about probability or started to think about maths or started to think about, and that ability, and try to think about whatever it is that we're doing mathematically, that operation of 0 to 1, 0, I don't understand, 1, I understand. That process to go from not understanding to understanding. And that's the biggest, probably, if there was going to be an extra little value listening to me yabbing, this is probably the most valuable thing that's not contained in that article, is that when I engage kids, the thing that differentiated top sets from lower bottom sets is that the bottom sets are either stuck in I don't understand anything, okay, and here's the thing, when they do see it and they do understand something, it goes from, oh, that's easy. It goes from, I don't understand, I can't do that, to, oh, that's easy. And there's no phase change between 0 and 1. It's not in between. It's either, I don't understand, I don't like it, I don't want it, blah, 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 to, okay, that's easy. That's too easy. I don't want to do it because it's too easy. Whereas top set will kind of go, and then they'll struggle away, and then they don't quite understand, but and so there's a phase change between 0 and 1. Okay, that's the biggest differentiator. And you might know this about yourself as well. Are you in an environment where you're just like 0, 1, and there's no interval, or it's like, there's a bit of a gray here. That's where most of reality is. Anyway, so that's it. Have a little read and share forwards, please, through scale, because that is the way that we manage to get agency, and we see agency, and it's all fantastic, and we manage to survive this tsunami of AI. I'm David Pinto, and thanks for watching.